Since he wore purple all the time, could we legally call him the Grapist?
That's why everyone going with the Mephisto theories. I was like,
Constantly, that's just the
That's
entirety
fine.
of his miniseries looking for his shoot.
Hello, welcome to the happy 616th Marvel family, where we talk about Marvel things, and that's about it. Today's topic is why we love / hate insert name here, and our insert name here is Professor X. We absolutely adore Professor X, and we can absolutely hate him for many reasons, especially what Fox gave us, but we can talk about that later. Right now, I need to hop onto... Oh, before I start doing other things, everybody please introduce yourself. Once again, I am the Funny Hatter. Next we have introducing themselves is...
my name is Victor, and I'm here to talk about the baldy.
He's here indeed, yes, and I'm Christopher. I'm also here to talk about the man without hair who had hair, but then he lost his hair eventually. It's the ultimate origin story we need to hear about his hair.
Oh yes, and that was visually shown to us in one of the big movies from Fox. Oh, boy.
Yes. Everybody's favorite, I think, yes.
Yes, everyone's favorite, which everyone loves to talk about.
Yes.
Oh my. I am giving out words to stall as I am putting in names into the wheel decider. Yes, it's very productive. So, considering how many people we have today, we only have 3, so it may end up being short, probably like around 30 minutes.
Maybe
or
like
less
maybe
than
five or 6 minutes, perhaps. We'll run through it pretty fast, you know. Professor X,
Yeah,
not too much history there. He's not been around for very long.
Speed running.
Alrighty, so first to talk about our big baldy here is Victor!
Oh,
Congratulations!
I always go first in these things, damn.
So far, this is
Victor,
only
what?
the second time.
True. Alright, so what do I love and or hate about Professor X? I'm gonna start with...
I forgot, I'm sorry. Before you do that, I forgot, this is what you have to do. You either have to choose love or hate, and you can be as flamboyant or as angry as you possibly want to be. It's like, you know what I love? Professor X. Here's why. Or, you know what I hate? Professor X. Here's why.
Okay. Alright, so I can only choose one. Interesting.
I'm being over dramatic. You can pick whatever you want. You just have to do the dramatic thing, but you can also talk about either love, hate, in between. You have to pick one for dramatic effect.
Alright, cool. Okay, I think I know which one I'm gonna start with.
Okay.
You know, I love Professor X. Here's why. With Charles Xavier, great professor, and all of his work done for mutant kind and all that, the great X-Men. As much as everyone likes to point out, the ends justify the means mentality with him. He is ultimately the one that ends up uniting everybody. He's like the ultimate group project guy here. And really, it's kind of the only long-term solution. Everyone's other alternate paths that they take with like how they're going to solve the mutant problem always ends in some form of devastation somewhat for everyone. Like, I mean, yes, Charles is going for more of a dream-based approach, which makes sense given his inspiration. Martin Luther King. At the same time, like in a dystopia filled with guys with laser hands, where we just kill the normals every few hours. What really comes from that one? At least coexist and kind of makes it so it's not just a role reversal that ends up happening. And frankly, you know, he educates the populace in those efforts. After all, the famous lesson about history is those you know learn from it to repeat it. And Charles definitely keeps to that to a T, and inspiring students to carry on his mission to the point where, yeah, the X-Men have even carried on through his numerous resurrections now. And now, basically, just like have united this grand group even beyond him in his memory, and also, not united with him in his memory, wheelchair or not. Depending on your point of paraplegic Charles, like he's simply there for the people.
Yeah, man of the people. Yeah, very inspiring person indeed.
Indeed. Is there any favorite interpretation you have of Professor X? Any one that you hate? I'm going heavy themes because it's the title of the episode.
I think, the one I love, obviously, is I want to start in these adaptations, like right on the get-go, it'd be the prime. I'm on the money for this one. That is, of course, the great Sir Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier.
Engage.
One that I hate, absolutely. It's a bit of a strong word, but like, I would still probably point to Ains McAvoy for one reason only. That, like all the actors in the reboot X-Men film series, they're all very finicky about their designs as their characters. Like, I don't know, Charles always has to walk or, not be bald or do something very un-Charles in one of these movies and be forced into the scenario to the point where he's basically being forcefully telepathically walking to someone. The point of movie, like James McAvoy just like need to get his walks in on camera to the point of looking like an embarrassment.
See how buff he is? He's got to get his steps in, otherwise he's gonna be paralyzed forever.
Turn to flab. Yeah, you gotta get that exercise.
Yeah.
And then it'll be irony. Then James McAvoy will then lose his legs.
Yeah, exactly. He has to walk, otherwise he will literally become the character. That's how he method acts. He becomes the character, but you can't do it for too long, otherwise you literally become the character. It's a permanent effect. Do you not know anything about acting? God.
Oh man. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna turn the tables now.
Ooh.
You know what I hate? Charles Xavier. Here's why. Alright, I'm gonna turn the tables on dear old Chuck, as Wolverine calls him, despite the fact that, how does Charles translate into Chuck? That'll be my first criticism there. It's a pretty minor one.
I don't know, that's always confused me too. Just Chuck, Charles, like the only thing that relates is a Chuck.
Hello? Hi, Chuck. This is
Wolverine.
It's like if Wolverine called Cyclops Dave, like,
Yo, Dave, get over here.
like, and then Scott would just be like, "Excuse me,
Dude, it's
Name's
Scott.
Yeah, exactly, Dave."
Dave.
The immediate translation, it's short or for Scott, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No.
Like,
Are you high on
that's just
drugs? It's like, I have a healing factor. I can't get high. Dave.
That's just my first minor complaint there for Charles. That's not even about Charles. But,
I mean, I think
itself.
it's a valid criticism because Charles and Chuck should not relate to one another. So
Yeah.
I hereby say that is a legitimate complaint, considering that I have no legitimacy to offer.
Charles is like the headmaster of sorts of a school, and he doesn't point this out to his amnesiac student.
Honestly, though.
I feel that's negligence on his part. Something that he should definitely consider teaching Logan.
Yeah, honestly. What's he doing in that school over there, man?
technically he'd be just teaching an old man. You ever notice that?
That's true.
Yeah, but one with memory problems, like, yeah, it's kind of futile if he keeps on forgetting
That's what
everything.
an old
but,
man
you know,
has. Old men have memory problems.
True, it's, it's a reflection of reality.
Yeah, no, exactly. Very realistic take on old men. Wolverine.
Yeah, the another thing that I hate about Charles is that he doesn't practice what he preaches. Keyword his children. I'm bringing that in.
Children.
Some would say, treat your students like you would treat your children. And in Charles's case, I would not want him to do that. Because David Haller, the certainly not doing well son of Charles, David Haller, aka Legion.
I've never seen Legion. I told my brother told me that it's a great show, but I never actually got around to watching it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, it is for sure amazing. Like
Really?
a lot of talent in the horror field. And Dan Stevens, who was always amazing. Yeah, definitely captures it well. But yeah, both in the show and in the comics themselves, Charles leaves both his that he meets in a mental hospital, by the way.
Of course.
And that's what Charles be doing.
Yeah. Famous Charles moment.
Wait a minute. Does he meet him in a mental hospital, or did he put him there?
No, he doesn't meet David in a mental hospital. He meets him elsewhere, but he actually meets him through Magneto, which is ironic. The guy's just hooking up everybody. But no, he meets his wife, soon to be at the time, in the mental hospital, where later they have David after leaving said mental hospital, because that birth would be weird. If it was still in said mental hospital. But anyway, he leaves David behind to do his X-Men thing, because that's what Charles does. So basically, giving up his biological child for his millions of other more fortunate souls dealing with their mutant ostracism. To be fine, Charles is a busy man. You can't expect him to parent when he's doing all this X-Men stuff. When he finally has the expectation of parenting, when he finally meets Legion as an adult, he pretty much sends him off to die, like any of his other guys, and not helping with his severe mental problems, at all. Get this guy in for helping you with your mutant superpowers, but apparently not for your Ikeval. Do another school for that. Oh wait, there isn't one in relation to mutants.
Oh man, it's cornered the market.
I guess move to Genosha, because frankly, Magneto's doing much better with, ironically, his daughter also has some severe bipolar. Well, minor bipolar, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just minor. Nothing too big.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
But,
It's
ironically, he's much better, despite the mutant extremism that he preaches all the time. He's much better at raising a child, though, than Charles is. Surprisingly.
Oh, what a twist.
No.
What a twist!
All 50 of them. Seriously, how many kids does Magneto have?
It's way too many.
Oh my god, that's gotta be a segment for another time. That's the person we should have started off with
Magneto's
love
children.
/ yeah, Magneto.
How many children does he truly have?
The entire world is
Yes.
his children.
But yeah, that's my main point, because I just realized I stole some from other people, and yeah, I'd say that's my main points I will bring up. That somehow, despite his best friend having so many kids, Charles can't even handle one.
That's a good point.
I'm sorry, even with the OP amount of superpowers the Legion has, he could at least try.
Technically, he's dealing with multiple children because they're all in one head, which I'm pretty sure he didn't ask for, but he's like, oh yes, my son is crazy, and there's more people in his head. I don't want them.
No children, please.
Except for Jean.
That's the only one.
I-
You can only
I
handle
have-
one.
I have figurative and literal children, and I don't like my literal children.
Yeah. Like, he can handle Jean's split mental problems, but, yeah, apparently when it comes to his own biological kid, he can just, straight up ignore him if he wants.
Well, one, she's not his real daughter, and two, she's got physical boobies. Legion.
Yeah, that's
does
the
not.
defense.
Because I'm pretty sure one of his split personalities is female, is a woman, right?
Actually, multiple, but yeah, there's like I think one that's very prominent.
Yeah. See, you can't see that on the outside. So he's like,
Sorry,
I don't have a
can't help
daughter. I don't have a daughter. I don't want to deal with it.
That must make Magneto's job easier. Because
Yeah, I guess he's got-
he mostly
he's
has
got, like,
daughters.
At least two daughters being Scarlet Witch and Polaris, right?
Yeah.
Polaris.
I
Yeah,
know for a
aforementioned
fact-
one bipolar.
Yeah.
I know for a fact Polaris is his daughter, but I think it's like still back and forth, like with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch being Magneto's daughters. I mean, the way that Quicksilver puts up his hair, that would convince me that he's
He
a
confuses
girl.
you sometimes.
Yeah, it's confusing sometimes. Like, he's a very flamboyant man. So it wouldn't surprise me. It turns out he's actually a woman. But yes, Legion is a problem that Charles Xavier created
Yeah, it doesn't
for the
exactly
better
deal with
or worse.
yeah.
But yeah, that'll be the point I leave off on for the order there of events.
Good stuff.
Charles
Okay.
is a bad parent, but he's also an amazing teacher that ultimately is right. This is like back when he still had his legs. The very vastly unclear point in comics.
Is it one of those things where like it's a comic book writer's excuse of saying like, oh, he had a kid the entire time, he just was never told
Just
about it,
didn't notice.
so they can
Yep.
add in a new character?
Just never tells anybody
He's like,
about
oh, guys,
anything.
did I mention I have a kid?
Oh, by the way, you have a son. What?
What?
He's 30 years old.
You chose now to tell me?
I mean, I guess it's kind of awkward, you know.
Just kinda.
Just a little.
Just randomly at the X-Men sex ed, just like, now remember, students, you have to be very responsible in your youth. I should know I have a kid.
You know, actually, I think it'd be funnier if like he's actually teaching sex ed, and he's like be responsible with the gifts that you have been given because they may result in something that you may not have wished for. And then a man just bursts into the room. He's like Charles Xavier, I'm your son.
See what I mean?
His crazy hair and everything.
See, there is a good example. Just walked into the door that I have to deal with now.
Oh, poor Norwegian.
In conclusion, class, don't have children. Never have sex.
Yeah, he's going with that approach.
Oh, man. Oh, perfect life lesson there.
Yeah, switches from be responsible to just don't do it.
No kids, no kids.
You know what? I've had enough. Just don't touch people.
It's time for the mutants to
You like
end.
Rogue over there.
See, Rogue, that's a perfect example. She has the perfect mutation. She kills anybody that touches her.
Keep it up, Rogue.
Vice versa. Be like Rogue.
I stars for A+ students.
Oh.
And she's like crying in a corner because she wants to make out with Gambit and Iceman and every other guy in the
Everyone in the
mansion.
university.
No, nobody told her certain stuff.
Oops.
It happens. It happens.
You're my favorite student, Rogue. Why? Because you can't touch people. You have the perfect mutation.
Oh man.
You can't have 30-year-old mistakes you just learn about today.
Right, Dave.
Then
That's where my
Dave
Dave joke goes full circle with David.
Oh, it does.
Dave walks into the sex ed classroom. My name's Scott. Dave asked a question. Alrighty, well, thank you for your 2 cents
Yes,
on
good stuff.
Charles Xavier. It's very valid points. And the moral of the story is, kids, be a good teacher and never have sex. Okay. So we have the wheel of names, which is basically
wheel
just a
of
coin
death.
toss right here.
Yeah.
Either Christopher is gonna go or I'm gonna go, and it looks like we've got Christopher.
Oh my God, that's me?
Congratulations.
Wait, oh yes, wait, who's Charles Xavier? I gotta look this up real quick. One second, wait. I didn't do any reading.
Which one?
Oh no, which one?
Where are you, Charles?
Hey, who's Charles?
Who is this Charles?
I thought we were talking about David. My name's
Oh.
Scott. David.
David.
It's all about Scott. Give all your points about Cyclops
Yes,
now.
it's Scott time.
hold
He's
on
got
one second,
cool
yeah.
sunglasses. I like that. Very cool. You know what I love about the bald man himself, Mr. X, Professor X. You know, he's got a degree. He shows that he's very knowledgeable in these things. He studied at a school. I don't know what school he studied at, but I guess it could just be a fake degree that he got online. Professor X. But who's to say?
Yeah, like back in the 50s.
Yes, of course. Nobody
Wouldn't
actually had
that
a degree in
be
the
something,
50s.
though?
They're all just fake.
You got like a computer like Zola from Captain America that gives you a fake degree.
Every student from the Westchester School ends up graduating, but then there's just an elaborate scandal where everyone just finds out that Charles's degree is fake.
We've been studying under you all this time, and you didn't even have a degree.
It's supposed to do in school. It's what they do in school.
Oh, Charles, how could you do this?
I was very lonely.
You just wanted friends. That's why you started the school.
School for gifted friends.
School for gifted friends.
They had to erase the friend part because it seemed like it was going to turn too many people away, so gifted youngsters.
Arguably, that
Both
sounds
scams.
worse.
I know, right?
I gotta say too, he does a lot of things right for bald people. You have like these villains, like you got Walter White,
Goddamn right.
you got freaking Lex Luthor, these bald villain guys. But then we got Professor X, the shining beacon of hope for bald people out there. So I gotta respect that too. He's rocking the bald look. It's looking great. So I appreciate that.
Bald rights, man. Just,
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
it's
bald
needed.
rights.
John, what about John Henry Irons?
Oh, you're right. Rocking
Deal,
it.
he's bald, I
It's
think.
true.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah, I mean the thing with black characters in comics is the fact that they only have 3 hairstyles in terms of the people drawing them. So I feel that doesn't really count when it's
What?
about the
Dang it.
standard due.
Oh man.
You got either like a nice cut, an afro, or bald.
He's completely bald.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And when they were making
Yeah.
Professor X, they were trying to figure out afro or bald. Most people say afro, but I think we're gonna want to go with
This
bald.
one, we're gonna switch the script up a little bit here. Professor X with an afro is the Professor X we need.
Yeah.
Got an
If I
afro.
can get on that.
Yeah, he's got an afro like Cletus Cassidy from the Venom movie.
Oh yes, we have the opportunity to do that with our series here. The very first debut
we
of
could.
Afro Professor X. This is what the fans have been asking for years. They're just too afraid to speak up.
Yeah, they really wanted it. They just did not have the courage. They just were not ready to point out what was really needed in the world, which was an Afro Professor X.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're just too scared, but it's time. We got to do it.
To get big old red afro.
Yes. Oh man. People would just be stunned by it. That's how he wins against Magneto. He's like, "Oh, your afro is just too big, man. It's just too amazing. I can't defeat you with that. It's too much power."
Medusa from Inhumans gets intimidated by his hair. She doesn't know if he has telepathy or if his hair moves like hers.
Oh my god. Oh.
Of course, he
I keep
would
forgetting
have to be redhead then, because yeah, in the typical fashion, with
I thought
all
he was
characters
redhead.
or characters with dyed hair, like they all secretly are redheads, just shaved off to blend in with the non-redheaded society.
Oh, I should have known. Dang, it was right there in front of us this whole time. We missed it.
That's what
They're all
happens to
Lex
Lex
Luthor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He knew
Big
no one
example of
would
that.
accept him for what he looked like, so he made himself more presentable.
Oh man, just had to shave it all off.
I think with Charles,
Yeah.
that's the real secret. Discount all the comics and films where we see him with hair.
Those don't actually exist. They're just a fever dream.
Non-canon.
But yeah, Professor X is I love him. I think he's a really cool character. You know, this sort of standing up for mutant rights and stuff, which is nice to see, and providing a home for all of these children that perhaps are abused and stuff, for their powers and whatnot, not living very good lives and not being accepted, but he's accepting them with open arms and teaching them how to control their abilities to the best of his ability. So it's of course he's got some pretty cool powers too, which is fun to see. Very cinematic even too, so that's fun. But yeah, he's quite a nice guy, Say what you will with Legion there. It's just, not everyone is perfect. But he likes people that are not related to him mostly.
Yeah, that's like the true summary of Charles in this here that we've come to. It's like Charles loves everyone
Except for
who
his family.
is related to him. If you're a relative of Charles, stay back.
don't cross him.
That's why they made Mystique his stepsister or his adopted sister in the movies, because they
Yeah.
couldn't have his real family on there. Otherwise, he probably would have beat them on screen, including his
You're
dad.
right. Yeah, that would have been
The
brutal.
true star of the divide of the Brotherhood.
If he was allowed to stay with his family, he would have just mentally tortured his dad,
Oh,
like
God, yeah, that would've been
like
messed up.
Stryker's son. What's his name?
Oh,
I mean, we were literally introduced to Charles in the X-Men First Class prequel film by him telling off his mom for being in different corners of the house. I mean, it was clear that
The
she was
signs
neglectful
were
to him, but like at the same time, like he's using his abilities like a god, pretty much.
Oh.
My mother
Oh,
never
family.
stepped foot in this kitchen.
This is my kitchen, mother.
Are you my mother? Are you my relative? Because we're going to have problems. There's a reason why she doesn't come to the kitchen.
This is my domain.
I'm not saying like it's an immediate reversal, because it's very clear that like I don't know, that, like there's some self-defense there for abuse, but like at the same time, what if it was their mom?
You just can't handle family.
It ended up being someone else who then had to experience Charles inside of their head. So
Oh, yes. Perfect.
that one. But yeah, sorry for diverging on
Oh,
that.
no.
They're very important topics.
They are, yes, they are. Deep inside the mind of Charles Xavier. What's going on in that bald head of his?
Yep, he's in everyone else's head.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah.
But is he ever in his own mind, though? That's the real question.
I think that would be terrible if you're a telepathic person and you're reading everybody else's minds. I think that distracts you too much from what you think yourself, or what you're thinking about yourself. And when you reflect on everything, you think, I think everything is exaggerated to 11, because you have comparisons of what people are thinking as you're thinking about them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true. Kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, does Charles ever get a moment to just be alone with his own thoughts? Just...
Mhm.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's kind of like with Superman, where he has a super hearing and he gets overwhelmed the first time that he has it. You can just hear everybody and stuff. So I can imagine that Charles is dealing with that. Just everything on full. Just hearing everyone's thoughts, even if he doesn't want to. I'm sure he can probably control it somewhat, but even still, does he ever just?
And same with And with Superman, he eventually controls it too. But like at the same time, though, like it's a bit of a different case because it's like you're mostly viewing everyone else's thoughts. That like that's how you'd view your own, just by the POV that you can actually see for yourself. Like Charles has literally gone into the astral plane and seen people's thoughts and visual POVs now. You gotta wonder that he's just viewing his own life and thoughts like he assumes it's just like everyone else's. I guess the time to truly experience his own feelings.
That's true.
Like, is he actually feeling his own feelings, or is he just feeling the
Everybody
feelings
else's.
of other people?
Yeah, it's a deep question right there.
Yeah, thanks, Fox, for never diving into that subject.
Dang it. Could have been an X-Men Origins Charles or something, I don't know.
I mean, that was the original script, because what they did was they were going to make X-Men Origins, Xavier, and Magneto, but then they just combined the two scripts into one.
Yeah. I think there was also a Beast one that they were working on for some time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, throw that in
It's a
there.
track
too.
that I would have loved.
Yeah.
Beast is a beast.
Beast is a beast, I gotta say, aptly named.
He also like came up with like a lot of these. There's that one, like Charles. Impeccable namer, that guy.
Oh, he is, yeah. Talent. That's his other super ability, being able to name stuff.
Just imagine, like, going on to, like, Jeopardy, and he's purposely cheating.
Oh,
Just so he can make himself feel good.
that would be brilliant. The ultimate scheme right there. Oh, you should have a story where Charles is a bad guy, but he doesn't do like super bad stuff, he just cheats the system with his powers.
Like, he's very petty, and he doesn't, like, shoot for, like, really high stuff. He just, like, knows, like, the lottery or something like that, or wins on Jeopardy, or, like, guesses how many jelly beans are in a jar just to get a stuffed animal at a carnival.
Oh my god.
Yep. What if Charles cheated at game shows?
Oh, that's gotta happen. Next episode of
That's
What
gotta
If is
be-
coming up.
That's got to be your next project, Christopher. Just like what ifs, but they're just superheroes being very petty with their powers.
Yes, I love it. Gotta do that.
Yep. Just getting them all on these very petty tangents in life.
And he'll like go to like a SeaWorld or something like that, and like he's heard of like how much like killer whales weigh or something like that, but he still shouts it out anyway. He doesn't have to read the mind. He's just been there so many times.
Like, I know the
Like,
answer.
can anyone tell me what a orca whale's favorite food is? Squid!
Squid.
Salmon!
Salmon. Oh.
Charles, you have to stop reading everyone's mind. I'll have to. I have an unlimited
Octopus!
pass.
Oh.
And he's given like a free pass because he's handicapped.
It's like, oh,
Yep.
he's in a wheelchair. That's fine.
Yeah, they just put up with him. He's like, okay, Charles, why don't we give the kids a chance? Penguins! So, is that your 2 cents on Professor X, or do you still have more?
It is.
you'd like
Yes,
to-
yes, that's what I got. Yeah, he's
Okay.
he's bald. He's got a degree. That's a win for me. Those two things add
So
up to a very
far.
successful man. Yeah.
As far as we know, he has a degree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We gotta look into that later. But for now, we're gonna assume that's legit.
Okay. Conclusion: he's a good man, a good bald man, and he's got a degree.
Yes.
What else do you
Yep.
need in life?
Exactly. Yeah. You got all those
Indeed.
things in life. You're pretty much set.
There's no arguing
Yeah.
with that.
So here's my question: what do you hate about Charles Xavier, if you do? I'm not forcing you to like come up with like a contrived reason you hate him. Just wondering if you do.
So just come up with the NA.
His eyebrows. though.
I mean, I'd say the only moment where his eyebrows sucked was like in the iconic cartoon at the start of it all.
Oh, was that?
Sorry, those eyebrows look too evil for a teacher.
Like, this man's eyebrows are
Was
saying
that-
something about him.
Was that the '90s X-Men, or was that Wolverine in the X-Men?
It is the '90s show. I think he had pretty normal eyebrows in Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That the '90s one being the that one. Near, 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 near.
The musical episode.
Yep. We'll need to do more musicals, actually.
Yes. Oh.
I really want to hear that cover of the X-Men cartoon theme, but like with the bad kazoo cover, or no, the bad recorder.
Yes. Oh god, that'd be a masterpiece. #1 on trending. Breaks the internet. There it is. You heard it here first, folks.
It was a cartoon where Charles had the evil eyebrows.
Yes. Oh, man. But in all seriousness, though, I'm not sure if there's anything that I hate about him. That's it's him and Legion. That's something. But I think he's a pretty solid character, pretty great and fun character to see, and it's been great seeing him in cinema too, with all the different interpretations we've got of him.
Right on. Well, that sounds very valid. Once again, you guys are very smart people. I like your takes on comic book characters. It's very educational. Now it is time for my 2 cents on
Here we go.
Professor X. And I just want to ask you, you know what I hate? Professor X! Here's why! This is coming from the Fox perspective, because I barely read the X-Men comics. I think I only have like 2 X-Men comics. I think like one of them I know for a fact is what it's a crossover with Black Panther, and then like the X-Men and Black Panther investigate in Wakanda for like animals that are being mutated by like this guy that's trying to like, make mutants or something like that. But anyway, he's not even in that. So what a dick. God. Anyway,
couldn't even make an appearance in that one. Come on.
Yeah.
Can't make an appearance in any one-off. Jeez, so lazy.
The X-Man.
The X-Man.
The X-Man himself isn't even in the comic. What's going on? Who can we trust at this point?
No one. We can't trust the psychic. We can't trust anybody.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, I think like the other X-Men comic, I can't be sure. I think it's a Wolverine thing, so I don't think Professor X isn't even in that. So my take
Professor
on
X is just secretly stalking Wolverine everywhere he goes.
See you, Logan.
I mean, technically he is. He stalks everybody.
That's
it's just
true. He's a stalker.
It's acceptable because people kind of understand how it works. It's like, oh, he's just watching out for us. It's like,
he's just watching me taking a
They
shower.
sort of take it for granted, kind of, just because he's a telepath or just because he's a teacher. You're kind of like actual teachers who portray this behavior much more creepily in real life.
yeah. Oh, he's just a nice old man. He's just keeping it out. And no, he's in your head. He knows what you look up. He knows your search history.
He knows everything. You can't delete it.
I hate that.
And to be fair, every teacher knows your search history, but like, you know.
They're all monitoring you.
Just knows your search history in your mind, so. Knows your search history before you know your search history.
God.
Especially the Photoshop teacher.
Yeah.
Boy, right. But yeah, so my perspective is mostly from the Fox interpretations, considering that there's 2 on the big screen. So I can't really find anything to hate about Patrick Stewart. I think he's personally objectively like the embodiment of Charles Xavier. One of the big things that I hate is this is mostly Fox. It's not really the character, so I'm just bitching. But what I hate about it is in the 3rd movie is that in the beginning when Professor X and Magneto go to get Jean and to bring her over to the school. He's walking, right? And in X-Men First Class, I think this is like one of like the big things of like a big messes of continuity in like their own cinematic universe that really pissed me off, because I remember seeing this in the movie theater and I was just like when I was watching it. But it's when the X-Men are on the beach in Cuba, that there's a part where Magneto's like redirecting the nukes back to the Americans and the Russians, and Rose Byrne pulls out her gun and starts shooting at him, and he's deflecting the bullets like Darth Vader, and one of the bullets hits Charles in the back, and he's like, oh look, he's paralyzed now. And he's like, well, did you want to make it consistent or not? Because he's walking when he's Patrick Stewart, who's like 30 years older than him in the movie, and looks 30 years older than him. It's like, what were you going for?
Wait a minute. That doesn't add up.
No. And then, like, later, I think this is what I just hate about Professor X. It's just his inconsistency to choose whether or not he wants to walk or not. Because in X-Men Days of Future Past, there's, like, a really dumb drug that Beast makes. And why does it always gotta be Beast who makes this stuff? Anyway, Beast makes...
He's always gotta make the retcon stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here we go again.
Superhero name should be Retcon at this point. But Beast makes a
superpower is
drug.
the ability to retcon people's backstories and fundamental reasons for living.
Oh. Oh,
Retcon. Why is he blue? We don't know. He's a mutant.
It's just one of those things, you know? Mutants are blue.
But anyway, yeah, there's a drug that takes away mutant, like the powers that the X gene gives off, but also gives him like the ability to walk. So whenever he's not walking, his powers are back and he just can't walk anymore. It's like, well, thanks, dickhead. You could have put that in like hospitals and try to see if you can make people walk again that are paralyzed from the waist down. Gee, what an X-Men you are.
Yeah, but apparently it takes away his psychic powers as well. So
well, the thing is, like, I don't think people would really care, because there's a lot of people in the X-Men cinematic universe that actually don't want their powers. That's displayed in the third movie.
Yeah.
And I know that the Days of Future Past goes to do Beast's superpowers and retconning. There's still like that hatred for mutants everywhere, and like some people are ashamed of themselves because they're mutants. So I'm pretty sure that they even had superpowers. So like, you have a potion that can make me walk, and I'm paralyzed like all over my body. It's like, yes, please.
yeah, I mean, it was mainly a trick, like I said when I was roasting the James McAvoy version of Charles earlier, but like, it's mainly done so that way these actors don't have to put on prosthetics or don't have to be in a wheelchair for hours, or don't have to shave their head for a role.
Which he accidentally did.
Yeah, he eventually ended up doing anyway. But yeah, the whole point, though, with that is like, yeah, but at the sacrifice of the characters, because at the point where like Charles is forced to no longer need a wheelchair anymore, just so James McAvoy doesn't need to sit on one. He basically created the ultimate questionnaire of Charles curing, making the mutant cure, which was like the whole product of a movie that causes central conflict in this world. Like, it's just made casually.
He's
like,
like, oh, yeah,
mutant cure
just made the cure for all of our problems. No, don't mind me.
Like, The Last Stand, there was the whole dilemma of like people taking the cure and like, should we do this? What's going on? What will we do? Will humanity use this against us? And then, like, in an alternate timeline, Charles just goes, yeah, I just made it casually. Just in
drink
a
this,
spare time.
Just with breakfast, just a quick shot.
No
Also,
moral
apparently
dilemmas
a drug
whatsoever.
addict. Yeah.
Yeah, he was also, like, addicted to the stuff, too. And, yeah, he's also popping some normal pills, too.
I was like, oh, yeah. Gotta pair this up with something nice.
So they give the Terminator vibes of, like, you know, Wolverine arrives from the past, and twist, it's a very different Charles Xavier than the one that he's used to. And get the Patrick Stewart one, he gets the bummed out bearded guy.
70s Xavier.
You gotta go with the drug theme because, of course, 70s.
70s, of course. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's the most subtle thing that you can do in a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, just drugs.
Make
yeah.
people scarred.
Charles is gonna be smoking in a PG movie.
We already have Wolverine being a smoking alcoholic. Like,
Yeah, true. But then by the time Wolverine goes back to the future, he'd be like, "What you want to say about my smoking bub?" I went to the 70s. Completely different
Yeah,
Dropping
story.
some LSD, man. I saw that.
Yeah, Wolverine's like as consistent as he is with his powers. He's as consistent as his powers. So he's got like two superpowers. One, he's got like claws that come out of his arms, and then he can heal his entire body. And then he just goes over the place and takes two of everything, like smoking and drinking. He probably goes out and like to like a burger place, like a restaurant, and he gets both a steak and a burger. And then he goes to a car. He gets a car and a truck.
Gotta have two of everything.
He goes over to a frozen yogurt place, gets frozen yogurt and ice cream.
Oh my god. This man is unstoppable.
And that guy's indestructible. Charles is just doing that because, I don't know, he was trying to kill himself. Yes,
He's like, I'm done with this franchise.
Yeah.
It's, just because Eric might have killed John F. Kennedy, but then they find out that
He was
he was trying to save him.
stars.
That whole deal.
I do like how in X-Men Days of Future Past, like his first instinct is to punch Magneto when he first sees him. After like one big movie, is like, oh look, they're in the relationship that they're in now, guys.
Look at this, they're punching each other now.
They're one step closer.
I also
playing
don't
chess?
like. I also don't like how. I mean, it's an interesting take, but I don't see this like as being like the character of Charles Xavier, like in Dark Phoenix. Maybe when he's younger, but in Dark Phoenix, he's like older and he's supposed to be like getting close to like Patrick Stewart to look.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with later on in that series, I think they just gave up by
They're
the
like,
time
"Ah,
of
we're done."
Arc Phoenix and stuff of like, you know, trying to bring the synergy to Sir Patrick Stewart and you know, Hugh Jackman and all that stuff. For all like, yeah, okay, they're still trying to keep things with Hugh Jackman because just any excuse to bring back Hugh Jackman.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, when it comes to Eric and Charles and, you know, everyone else, you know, they weren't trying to go with synergy of like, hey, this guy will eventually become this actor later.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Jean will totally become this actress later.
Of course.
Yeah, she's gonna look like a full-grown woman in like 5 years, and from Dark Phoenix to what's her name? Her name was just in my head.
Oh no.
I think the only time they were trying to keep that synergy of like, okay, these people will eventually become these people age-wise was in First Class.
Yeah, exactly. That was...
And that is kind of iffy. But that was the point where they were at least trying to, as shown by the fact that like they had that whole Easter egg with Jennifer Lawrence becoming Rebecca Romaine. Yeah, scene that has now been memed to death.
Said the real. Said the real Mystique.
Perfection.
Like, and now that meme has been done over and over again, I now just wonder if Magneto does that with like everybody's been with.
He does the meme with everybody.
Yeah,
I said the real Charles Xavier. And then you see Patrick Stewart. I said the real Charles Xavier. And then you see the Charles Xavier from the 90s cartoon. Perfection.
But yeah, speaking of Patrick Stewart, I'm actually going back on one point that you made of like, you know, can't point out any criticisms when it comes to Sir Patrick Stewart. I will actually dare to do so. Of outside the James McAvoy realm.
Wait, didn't you just say that you didn't like James McAvoy as Professor X?
Yeah, I don't. I meant story-wise when it came to Sir Patrick Stewart's version of Charles. I will dare for one unreason to hate his arc. and that is the whole twin brother in a coma that Charles can then pop into his body.
Oh yeah, that was
In
dumb.
X3.
That was one of the dumbest things that they
I
could
had a
have
twin
ever.
brother. He was just in a coma. I was like, hey, I'll just go over there, I suppose.
Yeah, when the X-Men deals like with science like all the time and deals like with magic a little bit, that's the thing that they go to. Like you couldn't have done like a clone like made by like Essex,
Yeah.
or Stryker or something like that. It's like no, he's just got a
It's a
twin brother who's brain dead, but he can transfer his consciousness into brain dead. It's like, oh hey, sorry that you're brain dead, but I'm just gonna use your body from now on since you don't need it.
Like, it kind of goes against, again, just like with Legion, it's sort of hypocritical compared to his mission for being right.
His family just doesn't.
So once again, the pattern of, like, family, he hates his relatives. He just hates everyone he's biologically related to. And
Yeah,
this extends to that point.
I completely forgot. I was gonna bring up siblings like Juggernaut and whatnot.
Yeah, he
but
hates
I
it
completely
too.
forgot.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, I
for more
completely forgot
reasonable
about the twin
reasons.
brother in X-Men 3.
Yeah, it also goes to question, like, was that guy disabled too? Because we also see that he's still in the wheelchair in X-Men Days of Future Past and the end credits of the Wolverine.
Yeah,
like,
you think that his body, I mean, if he's able to like move it, that he would be able to walk. But no, it's like once his consciousness was in a paraplegic state to where he was a cripple when his body was half paralyzed. That means that he also becomes paralyzed in another body too.
which is really ridiculous no matter how you defend it. For one thing, paraplegics still suffer from phantom limb syndrome. Like, that's still a thing. So, frankly,
I don't care. This
pretty
is
sure Charles would suffer from that.
Yeah, I don't care. Like he should just make him walk. He already crossed the line with a twin brother that they pulled out of their ass, and then you just like
either they reckon they ever had one in, like, you know, in between films, or, you know, he can walk. Like, it's one of those two things, because I refuse to believe that Charles then got up and then, I don't know, tripped and then broke his legs again.
Oh, dang it, not again. I just got
that
these
would have
legs.
actually been funny. It'd be like you guys seen Ash versus the Evil Dead TV show?
No, I haven't actually.
There's like a part where like he gets his hand back, right? Like by magic means. And he gets in a chainsaw sword fight like with a demon that's like in a human form, right? And then the demon like gets the chainsaw and like forces him like to he like moves his arms to where he's like forcing him to cut off his own hand, and he's like oh, it didn't even get to hold a beer yet.
Oh my goodness, poor Ash. Not again.
Yeah, I want to see that with Professor X. Like,
Like, no,
this
my
instant thing, like I'm free, and then he just ends up, back like in another execution trap.
To be fair, that's like a constant
Charles,
thing in comics too,
you can
where
walk.
he
He's like-
gets back.
Charles, you can walk. I can. He trips. He breaks his
Falls down
whole
the stairs.
back.
Oh no.
Hello, Logan.
It seems to be a pattern in comics too, where it's like Charles just gets his legs back and then immediately loses
right away.
them in another complicated manner.
Sacrifices he has to go through.
It's the TVA putting like little knickknacks so they remain
You can't
the
have
way
his
that they're
legs. We
supposed to be.
gotta mess up his legs, guys.
Yeah, so they just put like a little marble, like when he's walking again, so he breaks his back as he falls down.
Wow.
Oh no.
Anyway, I was on something. What was I talking about before? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so Dark Phoenix. This seemed weird to me, like out of character, because this feels like something he would do when he was like maybe younger, but like when he's like getting famous for like leading the X-Men, and he's got like a phone that goes directly to the president. He's kind of like just taking in like all the glory, if you know what I mean. He's just
Yeah.
like, I'm famous. He's like, I'm gonna exploit these children, my children, to
They're
make me
making
famous.
Yes. More fame,
Let's go to
children, more fame.
space. X-Men, we have to go to space. We never even been in a rocket. Yes, but it will make me famous. Go.
Trust me, guys. The magazine's wheat this up.
President will like me.
The
I
president
mean,
told
you.
me to do so. He likes me.
Like it seems kind of like very, a desperate move to cater to his goals, which like why, like this seems to be like the ending of everything. Like, which I get it, it was pretty much their end game because like the movies were over by that point. Aside from one horror movie that they ended up releasing on Disney Plus. But yeah, it's pretty much like, by the point you have lines to the president and your school is pretty much sanctioned like the Avengers to work for the US government, like at that point, what are you really fighting for?
True.
I mean, the government, like in that sense, can still screw you over, like with one slip up. That's all they needed with a school of superpowered people. Slip up once, and then they will like turn them over like a dime and
Exactly.
say like,
They're like, "Oh, none of that. We're done."
the terrorists.
Yeah, which is why, it's kind of weird that Charles was at that sort of peaceful time. Like, that would be the only behavior of someone who, like, definitively assured mutant rights, not just like, everything's gonna be fine, even though, like, they only trust us on a thread right now. It seemed Charles had a little too much trust there, especially considering that, like, this was...
I'm friends with the president.
It's fine,
and he
guys.
never
He loves
lies. He gave me a red phone. Isn't that nice? He only charged me $25 for it. Only 25.
It was worth it. Every penny.
Especially because it was weird, like, right after he just quoted Sir Patrick Stewart's line of, like, I pity the poor soul who goes to my school looking for trouble. Like, right after that, they then do a time skip where he's best buds with the president. It's supposed to be an uneasy but hopeful vibe that the last film ends on, and then suddenly, he's just like, has this whole super team lined up with law enforcement.
Yeah, I can see Charles being like that person, like saying, like, oh, me and the president, we're best friends. Like and then the president like was like, yeah, I kind of just let him.
You
He kinda just
I don't
works
actually
for
know
me.
this guy. He's just kind of there.
We work together. That's as far as our relationship goes, and like Charles Xavier is like being like too overly over. He's praising the president too much. It's like, oh yeah, we're the best of friends. He gave me a red phone. He let me go into space with my own spaceship that I made, which he never funded. But we're best friends.
We hang out all the time,
It
guys.
kinda
Trust me.
it makes Charles
Like-
sound very desperate.
He
for
gets all the
his-
pictures of like them together, but like he's always cropped out.
But that's me right there.
Charles
You
just
see my shoulders.
photoshopped a whole bunch of them. One of them is literally just as been photoshopped on the Cyclops.
Yeah, he Cyclops is actually like putting his arm around the president, but he puts a cutout of his face on Cyclops holding the president.
Oh, man.
Isn't that Cyclops? No, that's not Dave. That's me.
That's me. of
Standing
course.
here.
I felt like standing for this picture.
Oh, man.
I mentioned before already, I hate his inconsistency to choose whether or not he wants to stand or walk, like in Dark Phoenix. When he just starts walking up the stairs to just go talk to Jean, wasn't that just terrible?
Yep.
He can't even walk right, God.
Oh man.
Yep.
Yeah, that was such a wasted... I felt like that was a wasted scene when, like, Jean forces him to, like, walk up the stairs. That
Yeah,
and
it
also just
ended
felt
up,
so unearned.
it ended up looking so goofy because of the fact that it was just McAvoy actually walking.
Yeah.
In a goofy way, just like I don't know, like they told him to ham it up for the telekinesis, just like
The fans are gonna love this.
yes,
Let's
if
do it.
someone was forcing you to walk up the stairs, this is how you would walk. Outside of your free will, people, want you to do the tap dance sort of walk.
So fun.
So fun.
Yep.
Well, I think that's about gonna cut it. We're already over our hour mark. So next week, we're gonna decide on a topic after this, but do stick around because it should be a good subject. We'll probably start revealing what the topics are after this next one, so we can actually give people hope on probably talking about the things that you hate or you love, because it's Marvel. Why not? Yeah. But thank you very much for listening. It's a very weird way to end the show, but I'm glad you stuck around this long to hear about why we love and hate Professor X. And for that, who do you guys think should play Professor X in the MCU when they bring him in?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hayden Christensen, of course.
Christensen.
Yeah.
I pity the poor soul who comes to my school and looks for trouble.
Oh god.
I mean, I feel bad because like everyone's comparing him under George's direction, but frankly, he's actually very good.
Oh yeah, it's Shattered Glass is really good in that. Yeah. But
ironically, another role, another X-Men star was in. So yeah.
oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
To pick up some tips from James McAvoy. I don't know how to walk.
Yeah.
One lesson to not take from him, I guess. I mean, sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting the closing there. I'm just not that good with fan casts.
Yeah,
so,
I'm pretty bad too, guys, as you can see.
I think it should be Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yes.
I pity the poor soul who comes to my school looking for trouble.
God, we gotta call him
alright,
up.
alright.
He's getting this.
It might be good.
You could smoke every 2 hours.
Yes.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much for listening, and we hope you had a great time listening. We will be back next week talking about a great new topic.
Another one.
We have a whole bunch we want to test out.
Yes.
And, okay, I think that's it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.